And this fall, man, this is very tough. And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Number 10, the 2002 figure skating mishap.
David, what was your first thought when the numbers went up?
It was like a punch in the stomach.
In the 2002 Winter Olympics, Russia was awarded gold in the pairs figure skating event, to the shock of many, including the silver medalists. Jamie Salé and David Pelletier of Canada put on a performance that many felt should have won the duo gold. As the scores came in, so did many complaints, and the judges were accused of fixing the competition. This was confirmed when a French judge broke down in her hotel and confessed that she was pressured by the head of the French skating organization to give the Russians a higher score.
She just came running over and said, Sally, you must help me. I wasn't right. The Canadians were better.
This led to both Russia and Canada being awarded the gold.
They could see that we made absolutely no mistake, and it has to be that picky when two skaters do skate well, and they definitely did make a mistake.
Number 9, Patrick Roy versus Mario Tremblay.
Okay, but like I said before, hell of a son, bang, bang, 8, 9 goals. I didn't have any choice then, and I know that he was mad.
It was an off night for the Montreal Canadiens in December of '95. The team was suffering at the hands of the Detroit Red Wings. However, it could have gone very differently. It was well known that goalie Patrick Roy and new coach Mario Tremblay were not the best of friends. But this poor relationship escalated after Tremblay waited until Roy had let in 9 goals before switching goalies. Tremblay's power play contributed to the biggest home defeat in Canadiens history. Montreal would lose their star goalie shortly after, and Roy went on to win 2 more Stanley Cups with the Colorado Avalanche.
It's not easy, and it's too bad how this whole situation came out.
Number 8, Gretzky is benched.
Wayne Gretzky, the first player to come out of the locker room. And Wayne, is this the toughest moment in your hockey career?
Well, to say the least, we're devastated.
It was the 1998 Nagano Winter Olympic Games, and in the hockey semifinals, Canada was forced into a shootout with the Czech Republic, despite being clear favorites to win the game. But all was not lost. Canada had the star power, including the great one, Wayne Gretzky. There was no way they could lose the shootout, right? Well, for unknown reasons, the coach, Mark Crawford, didn't nominate Gretzky to take a shot. Due to this highly questionable decision, Canada lost the game and finished 4th. The details behind Crawford's medal-losing choice to bench Gretzky have never been explained.
And I feel so sorry for Gretzky. You know, you can almost see it in his eyes. This is it for me for the Olympics, and it's sad.
Number 7, the decision.
LeBron, what's your decision?
And this fall, man, this is very tough. And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
After 7 seasons as a Cleveland Cavalier, LeBron James felt like it was time for him to take his talent elsewhere. However, James claimed that his announcement was so big that it deserved its own television special. Therefore, on July 8, 2010, the decision was broadcast live on ESPN. The player told the world that he was moving to the Miami Heat. His choice of team wasn't the issue. Instead, it was the over-the-top hype generated through the television special that left a bad taste in the mouths of many fans. And many saw James as incredibly self-centered afterwards.
I just want to say I'm a big LeBron fan, and this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me.
Number 6, the Pete Rose scandal.
The banishment for life of Pete Rose from baseball is the sad end of a sorry episode.
Pete Rose should be a baseball legend. With many record-breaking feats under his belt, he would have gone down as one of the best hitters in MLB history. However, due to his gambling scandal in 1989, this will never be the case. Rose was caught betting on Cincinnati Reds games while he was employed as a manager for the team. As a result of this, he was deemed permanently ineligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. The Hit King's poor decisions and apparent gambling addiction may have destroyed his legacy forever.
Why would you, the cardinal rule of no betting?
I don't know. I was stupid. I made mistakes.
Number 5, the MLB steroid era.
I did not vote for him, and it's funny you read off those numbers. I don't even need to know what those numbers were because he was that good. One of those guys you looked at and said, that's a Hall of Famer.
Throughout the 1990s, Major League Baseball's poor sanctions on the use of steroids led to crazy high stats across the league. Due to the use of performance-enhancing drugs, some players hit a lot more home runs than the previous averages. And this wasn't a gradual change either. Between the 1995 and 1996 seasons, the number of 40-plus home run hitters increased from 4 to 17. These extraordinary numbers caused a series of steroid scandals involving the likes of Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire. This led to long-term ineligibility for some and major health concerns for others.
To me, Bud Selig, he will be defined by how this era is viewed by history.
Number 4. Zidane's Headbutt. In the dying stages of extra time in the 2006 World Cup final between France and Italy, star striker Zinedine Zidane was needed for the possible penalty shootout that would follow. However, numerous insults from Italian center-back Marco Materazzi provoked Zidane to headbutt the Italian, and he was sent off. The game went to penalties, where Zidane would have certainly made a big impact for France. However, they lost to Italy instead. Zidane has publicly said that he wouldn't have been able to live with himself if he wasn't sent off. We're not sure that France would say the same thing.
You can't excuse that. Zidane's career ends in disgrace.
Number 3. 1 yard to victory.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
With the clock winding down on Super Bowl 49, the Seattle Seahawks were closing in on defeating the Patriots and winning the big game for the second consecutive year. All that was left for them was to move the ball 1 yard into the end zone. With beast mode Marshawn Lynch on their side, it seemed like the Seahawks were almost definitely going to run it in and win the game. However, in a shocking turn of events, Seattle decided to try and pass the ball instead. This led to Malcolm Butler intercepting the pass and New England winning the Super Bowl.
It's gotta be one of the dumbest calls in Super Bowl history.
Number 2. Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan.
Sam Bowie was really good, but by the time they drafted him, he'd missed 2 full years, he'd been redshirted twice. To me, it's more of a what if.
Nobody can see the future, but they can dwell on the past, especially if you're the Portland Trailblazers. In the 1984 NBA draft, Portland was on the clock for the 2nd overall pick, selecting Sam Bowie from Kentucky. However, in the 3rd pick, Chicago drafted Michael Jordan. Bowie was a decent player, but his career was plagued with numerous injuries, making this a bad decision before we even look at what Jordan accomplished on the court. He was, and still is, a pop culture powerhouse. We can be sure that Portland is still kicking themselves about this one.
How could people not see this in the moment? You gotta be kidding me. Who passes up this guy?
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some dishonorable mentions. Manny Pacquiao's split decision loss to Timothy Bradley.
To one, Jim Lampley, who called the fight for HBO, came over to me, Bernardo, at ringside after the fight, looked at me and said in 30-something years of calling fights, the single worst decision that he'd ever seen. Remember, he called fights like Holyfield Lewis 1.
The 2004 NHL lockout.
We are here today because union leadership refused for more than a year to make any kind of proposal whatsoever.
Coach Little keeps Martinez in the game.
A flare into center field. Out as Walker won't get it. The base running of Matsui. He comes home. Nobody covers second. Tie game.
Chris Webber's timeout.
Michigan will have to bring it.
Oh, he walked. He walked and the referee missed it.
Weber brings it into the front court. They have no timeouts remaining.
Oh, he causes too many timeouts. That's a technical foul.
He called a timeout. Michigan doesn't have any.
J.R. Smith dribbles out the clock.
Hill misses. Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked. And we'll go to overtime.
Number 1. Chris Humphries marrying Kim Kardashian.
In accord with the laws of the state of California, I pronounce you husband and wife. Chris, you may kiss your bride.
Just kidding. Number 1. Babe Ruth, franchise killer.
New York never was able to beat the Red Sox before this. The Red Sox could never beat New York after the sale either.
Still recognized today as one of the greatest hitters in baseball history, Babe Ruth was possibly the biggest steal for the Yankees, no matter the price. After building a legend in Boston, he was sold to New York's better-known team in 1919. This deal saw the beginning of the curse of the Bambino. After Ruth's move, he managed to capture 4 World Series titles, while the Sox were in the early stages of an 86-year championship drought. Not only did Ruth bring New York a lot of glory, but his departure from Boston fueled one of the greatest rivalries in sports.
Harry Frazee was sitting in a taxi, and he was bragging that he'd sold Ruth, and the cab driver slammed the brakes, pulled him out, and punched him in the nose.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.